No one should ever tell you that America is not yours. No one should tell you that you are not a Texan or the dignity and respect that is deserving of humanity is not going back to you. If you believe in the dignity of all people, if you do not see people by their color, their religion, by their party, if you want to have a nation that the world can trust to say that America is full of good people and it stands for good, then you will work like you've never worked before. You will finish the registration up until October 9th, and then you will work the next 29 days without ceasing, without sleeping, without tiring, and you will change America when you elect the next United States Senator from the state of Texas.
¿Cómo estamos? Good to see you all. How are we doing tonight? It is so good to be back with you again. Every single time that we come out to Houston, to Fort Bend, to any of the communities here in Southeast Texas, you make us feel so welcomed, right at home. You know that like you, I grew up on I-10. Just down the road, 12 hours to the west, in another time zone altogether, in El Paso, Texas, with Ciudad Juarez forming the largest binational community in the hemisphere. 3 million, 2 countries, 2 languages, joined, not separated by the Rio Grande River, forming something far greater, more powerful, more profound than the sum of the parts or the people, something absolutely magical. Not unrelated to that, El Paso, Texas, one of, if not the safest cities in the United States of America, not in spite of, but because we are a city of immigrants. People from all over the world come to this country, choose us, leave their home, their comfort, their family, their language, their culture, their customs, strangers in a strange land, choosing us to do better for themselves, for their kids, but because they are called to and inspired by this country. They want to contribute to our greatness, and by their presence they are stronger, safer, more successful. And here we are in the most diverse city in the United States of America. And we carry that with us to each one, the other 253 counties of Texas, showing up for everyone, everywhere, every single day, just like you asked me to do. You cannot be too much of a Republican, too strong a Democrat, too independent, too long a non-voter for us not to want to listen to you, include your story in ours, your fight in this campaign, the expectations that you set with us to become our agenda for the next 6 years in the United States Senate. He visitado cada condado de este estado, 254, para estar allí para cada familia, cada tejano, sobre todos los temas más importantes, incluyendo migración, pero también cuidado de salud, la necesidad de tener trabajo. Y mira, si queremos asegurar nuestras comunidades, nuestro estado, nuestro país, no necesitamos muros, Necesitamos tratar cada persona con respeto y dignidad. And what makes me more hopeful, more inspired, more encouraged than I've ever been in my life is that we have decided not to organize against anyone else or another political party. We have made this campaign about and for the future. Because the people of the future are counting on us. They want to make sure that we are not defined by our fears, because fears lead to things like Muslim bans, banning all people of one religion from the shores of a country comprised of people from the world over. Fears lead to building walls 2,000 miles long, 30 feet high, taking your farm, your ranch, your home to build something that we do not need at a time that the US-Mexico border has never been safer, that apprehensions have never been lower, at least not in my lifetime. And you know full well who it is we're apprehending right now. What would it take for you to scoop up your baby, your kid, travel 2,000 miles, much of it by foot, some of it, if you are lucky, atop, but not inside a train known as the Beast or La Bestia, to come here to this country of asylum seekers, of refugees, of immigrants from the world over. And you get to our front door at the Texas-Mexico border, but instead of finding that salvation, that safety that you sought for that child, for whom you were literally willing to risk your life, and you did, you find your worst nightmare, that kid taken from your arms, that baby torn from your breast. What if we, who bore witness to this, understand it because we've lived it better than anyone else, insist that we never again take another child from another parent seeking salvation in this country, and that we ensure that every single one of those children are reunited now with their parents, not another day of suffering or torture or cruelty. That we, the defining immigrant state, experience, and story, permanently free dreamers from the fear of deportation by making them U.S. citizens right now, today, so that they can contribute to the full potential of this country. Dreamers who are being taught in the classroom, dreamers tomorrow who will be teaching in the classroom. Dreamers, though they don't have status or documentation, willing to put their lives on the line, serving this country in uniform, bearing the battle for everyone who doesn't have to. Let's make them citizens now, allow them to be here, ensure that they're successful, and that so are we. And for every veteran who comes back from these wars that we are fighting, 27 years in Iraq, 17 years in Afghanistan, but also tonight in Syria, Libya, Somalia, Yemen, Niger. Let's make this deal that when you come back to this country, we guarantee you the health care that you need and earned, the roof over your head, and that help to take that next step in your life, that career, that small business, that band you're gonna start, that school that you're gonna go to. And if we really want to honor the sacrifice of those who've served, before we start another war, before we renew the wars that we are already in, let's answer these questions. What does victory look like? What is our strategy to achieve it? Why do we fight? Why do we ask you to potentially sacrifice your life? Why do we ask you to take the lives of others in the name of this country? If we cannot answer those questions, let us not only not start another war, let's end the wars that we are in now and bring these service members back home to this country, to this community, to their families. And the wars that we we fight inside our borders. A war on drugs, which for more than 50 years has become a war on people. Some people more than others. The largest prison population on the face of the planet, bar none. And that prison population looks nothing like the population of this country. Disproportionately comprised of people of color. People doing time for a substance that's perfectly legal in other states in this country. A substance which that returning veteran might want to have a prescription to instead of the opioids to which they may become addicted. We lost 70,000 of our fellow Americans last year to opioid overdose deaths. What if our answer to the war on drugs was treating addiction not as a criminal justice issue, but a public health issue? Making sure that those responsible for this opioid crisis, the pharmaceutical corporations who marketed it to the people of this country, face real justice and accountability? And what if we did two things? Ended the prohibition on marijuana, and then we expunged the arrest records of everyone arrested for possession of a substance that's legal in most of the rest of this country. Allow them to get on with their lives, to go to work, finish their education, do what they are supposed to do, free enough now to do it. And we, this state, the least insured state in the United States of America, where we've got people dying of diabetes, succumbing to the flu, getting locked up on purpose because they have schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, depression. They can't get treated and they get arrested on purpose. The largest provider of mental health care services in the state of Texas today is the Harris County Jail. How fucked up is that? What if we, knowing what we know about the failure to be there by and for one another, lead the way for this country on guaranteed, high-quality, universal health care for every child, every woman, every man, every single one of us, everywhere that we are, anytime that we need it. Whatever the challenges are, I know that we are up to the task. Let me give you an example. In a state where it's legal to be fired based on your sexual orientation, in a state where they seriously debated a proposition to try to scare you about transgender kids coming into bathrooms in our schools, though we know that transgender children are far more likely to be the victims and the perpetrators of these attacks, in a state with 30,000 kids in the foster care system. And things were so bad at Child Protective Services recently, so underfunded, that those kids in those CPS offices were sleeping on top of and underneath the desks. But in this state, you can be too gay to be able to adopt one of those kids. What if this state, the people of Texas, led the way on full civil rights for every single one of us, regardless of our differences? What if this state, led by the people of Houston, who understand this better than anyone in this country, what if this state, knowing that if this planet cooks another 2 degrees Celsius, we lose it forever, we will not be rebuilding Houston after the next 500-year flood, and we've had 3 of them in the last 5 years just in this community. We won't be able to live in Houston anymore. Those farmers that we depend on in the Panhandle, in the West, those droughts that they're going into again after emerging from 5 years straight of droughts if we will still listen to the scientists. They tell us these storms, these droughts will become more severe, more profound, more frequent, undermine our ability to live where we do right now. What if we decided that we are going to stop man-made climate change, take the lead for the people of the future, make the tough political decisions today, and in a state that is the epicenter of a maternal mortality crisis, 3 times as deadly for women of color in Texas, a state that shut down so many of its family planning clinics over the last 7 years, that we've made it, in some cases, too hard for some women to get that cervical cancer screening, to be able to see that family planning provider, to be able to see a doctor or a provider of any kind, that we're losing them faster here than almost any other developed country on the planet. What if we said that universal health care, it means mental health care, it means specialty health care, it means primary health care, but it also means every woman makes her own decisions about her own body, has the access to the care that allows her to do that. We will be defined not by our fears. We will be known by our ambitions, our aspirations, the commitment that we make together to achieve them. This campaign that we are running together is the most exceptional thing that we've seen in Texas in a long, long time. It's all of us together. Not a single dime from a single PAC or super PAC. No corporations, no special interests. All people, all the time. And whatever you're doing, it's certainly working. The polls that were released 2 weeks ago, they have us up 2 points over the junior senator in the state of Texas. But now, so close, after having been on the road for the last 20 months, with 29 days to go, this one is on us. This moment is ours. The people of the future are looking back at the people of 2018, and they want to know that we came through. So, if you, or anyone in your life, is not yet registered to vote, or hasn't changed their registration to their new address, there are voter registrars here tonight to help you do it. Right up here, right back there, all over the place. And then in 2 weeks, October 22nd, the first day that you can vote is the day that you must vote. Are you committed to voting on October 22nd? If so, then there's this. Less than a month from today, which is all that stands between us and the future and the fortune and the fate of this state, of this country, of this generation, and every generation that follows, I'm looking forward to celebrating a historic victory with you. And everyone here who's willing to put their belief and their faith in this state and our people. I'm with you, Houston. Thank you for doing this.